Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of A Healthy Dose of Fran. Today the Avatar returns in a brand new video looking at something that may have been canon in the Legend of Korra if Bryke hadn't vetoed it in the end. So today I'm looking at what would have happened if Asami had been evil. Now, before anyone jumps at me for using the term evil, come on. The Equalists are basically portrayed as evil in Legend of Korra. And, well, there is kind of a little bit of justification behind that. We do have to admit the Equalists made a lot of good points, and we probably should have listened to them a little bit. I say we, I mean the people in Avatar, but I guess they kind of did because President Reiko, but we also know what happened with President Reiko, and I'm getting completely off topic here, so let's get back to the video. Now, the reason why I want to look at Asami possibly being an Equalist, at least, is mainly due to the fact that it was something that originally was going to happen in Legend of Korra. But Mike and Bryan basically ended up really liking her character and decided not to make that happen in the end. But it got me thinking, what if she had been an Equalist? Because just like her father, Asami had a lot of justifiable reasons for wanting to be an Equalist, or at least believing in the Equalist movement. Mother was killed by a firebender. Business was being taken away from non-benders, her father being maybe one of the only exceptions, as well as the cabbage merchant. The system in general was against non-benders. For example, Yukon basically using the system to his advantage, bloodbending people, getting away with it for years. And generally the triads and things like that were benders using their bending against non-benders and almost entirely getting away with it. So everything Asami has seen growing up will have been things against non-benders. So it's not difficult to assume that she could agree with the Equalist movement. But it is the varying degree of agreement that leads to three possible ways in which Asami being an Equalist could have happened in the series. The first one is predominantly what may have happened originally in the show if it hadn't been vetoed in the end, and that is Asami being a honey trap for Mako. Now, we get the sense that she is a honey trap initially, and I know from lots of podcasts and YouTube channels that I've watched react to Legend of Korra, that was the initial assumption that she was going to be a honey trap. So this is where I'm running with that. And the honey trap idea definitely works in terms of Mako, and then anything Mako does, Bolin follows. But the reason why I think it'd be interesting for her being a honey trap is how she can use and manipulate that situation to her and the Equalist movement's advantage. Now, we get a small sense of this in the show, in that the whole competition between Asami and Korra for Mako's affection. But if it is a honey trap movement, maybe Asami is making this work to her advantage. She continues to show that Korra is against her. She convinces Mako that Korra isn't good, that whatever is happening there is bad and negative and is going to affect their relationship, or at least continue to drive a wedge between them. For example, Mako's reaction to Korra accusing Hiroshi of being an Equalist, which, it was true, but we can see his frustrations building with her. And if that continued to work in their favour, maybe Asami continued to play on it, leading to Korra ending up vulnerable and alone, which isn't going to work well in Korra's favour, which is going to lead to her doing things that are reckless, because she's got no one to firstly keep her under, not control, but to kind of help her talk things out, help her deal with these emotions. This is a girl who grew up completely isolated. She needs the support of other people to help her make the right decisions, just as Aang did in Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, with this reckless nature now brought on due to Asami's honey trapping, when Team Avatar realises the error that they have made, that Asami is an Equalist, that the Equalist movement has been moving right under their noses, that relationship is fractured. Korra will most likely fall and fail, and the Equalists will rise victorious because Asami, intelligent and manipulative as she is, led to this victory. Number 2, the episode where Hiroshi says to Asami to join him. She does. She has been working for him and for the Equalist movement this entire time, and she joins them in that moment, showing her true nature to Team Avatar, who is already defeated at this point. This moment would be defining because Asami turning against her father in the original story was the only reason why Team Avatar were able to escape. If she doesn't, they will be captured instantly. Only Mako and Bolin were the only members of the team who were able to have their wits about them. Lin, Tenzin and Korra all unavailable to help in this situation, so Team Avatar is captured. Maybe Korra's bending is taken, and so we have a plot divergence from here. Asami's decision would have led to the capture of Team Avatar, the removing of bending, and once again, the victory for the Equalists. Then we have the third one. I think this is my favourite one because it makes the most sense for Asami's character. And that is her being an Equalist, having no shame about being an Equalist, because the movement has good points. It is something that she wants to fight for so everyone can have equality. The same as the lieutenant, because Asami would have been the lieutenant in this story because she would have wanted this equality. But the moment that she saw that Amon and her father didn't want equality, they wanted power for the non-benders. They wanted non-benders to be the new oppressive power. And from what we know of Asami's morals, this would not stand for her. So she would go to Team Avatar, begging them to understand her reasons and tell them her father and Amon's plans, leading to the defeat of Amon. But what would have been different maybe would have been the fact that Asami would have helped equality come to Republic City, because she would know and understand the frustrations of non-benders, because he is and was an Equalist. However, what would have been interesting from this story of her coming and changing would be similar to Zuko's storyline. Just in this case, it happens in book 1, and the whole 4 seasons are her working to build this relationship again with Team Avatar. And I really quite like this idea because it's her showing that she is not ashamed that she was an Equalist, because she believed in the message until the wires got crossed and things changed. And maybe she'd fight to make sure that non-benders did have a voice in Republic City, and maybe even become that voice just in a positive way. And then the relationship between her and Team Avatar would continue to grow. It would continue to work and be something that could change and develop and just give us a different perspective of Team Avatar. Which again, because of how little time we did have for Legend of Korra, it wasn't always the most obvious sense. But in general, Asami as an Equalist does make sense, but I do understand why Bryke vetoed it in the end. But what do you guys think? Do you think it is correct that Asami probably should have been an Equalist, or do you like how the story went with her in canon? Whatever the case, let me know in the comment section down below. Before I sign off, however, I want to give a massive shout out to the fantastic guys over at the Legend of Portalcast podcast, where I have had the absolute pleasure to join them recently for a series looking at one of the Avatar: The Last Airbender graphic novels, and it was an absolute blast. So I'm going to link all of their social media, wherever you can go listen to the podcast, all in the description box, because it's a brilliant series. They've been doing like a Legend of Korra episode follow along, and it's just so much fun to listen to them. So go check them out, support them as best you can, and to Legend of Portalcast, thank you so much for having me on the show. In general though, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you go to the description box down below, you'll find the links to all of my social media, my merchandise store and my Patreon. Want more Avatar content? Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.